Hello, my name is John, and today we'll be reading Obama's Real Debt and Deficit Legacy by Stephen Moore, The Washington Times, February 18th, 2018. Stephen Moore, a senior fellow at the Heritage Foundation and a consultant with FreedomWorks, is an economic columnist at the Washington Times. Congressional Republicans have been raked over the coals in the last 2 weeks for slamming through budget caps and inflating government spending and debt by another $300 billion. The criticisms are well deserved. It's a historical truism that Republicans are much more fiscally conscientious when they are in the minority than when they run Congress. And Republicans tend to be much bigger fiscal hawks when there is a Democratic president than a Republican president, as we are now witnessing. The only time in a half a century that the budget has been balanced was in the late 1990s, when Bill Clinton was president and Republicans ran Congress. It was a good combination. We ran 4 straight budget surpluses from 1998 to 2001, and government spending dropped gloriously from about 20 to 17.6% of GDP. No wonder the economy boomed in those years. Government was less of a drag. But now we are experiencing an historical revisionism about fiscal record during the slow growth Obama years that is based on fantasy, not fact. Amazingly, Barack Obama is being heralded as a deficit slayer who helped get our fiscal house in order. What's next? Richard Nixon was really a pussycat? Mr. Obama and his supporters are saying that he cut the deficit by 2/3 while president. The left-wing group PolitiFact, which is supposed to be a fact-checker, even has rated Mr. Obama's claim as mostly true. Last week, while I was talking about the fiscal outlook on CNN, the producers put a chart on the screen showing that the deficit dropped by 60% while Mr. Obama was president. My jaw dropped, literally, when I saw the chart. This takes torturing data to new heights. The national debt skyrocketed from 11 to nearly 20 trillion on Obama's watch. Is a diet successful if you start by weighing 200 pounds and 8 years later you weigh 400 pounds? I may be super obese now, but at least I'm putting on the pounds at a slower pace. It is incontrovertible that the national debt nearly doubled in 8 years, which makes Mr. Obama the runaway Olympic gold medal winner of all presidents for fiscal incompetence. The figure below compares Mr. Obama's record on red ink compared to every president since Eisenhower. Mr. Obama's record is far and away the worst. So where does the fantasy come from that Mr. Obama lowered the deficit by 60%? Here are the official deficit numbers in George W. Bush's last years in office and Obama's 8 years in office. Deficit in billions of dollars. 2008, $459 billion. 2009, $1.4 trillion. Obama's first year in office. 2010, $1.2 trillion. 2011, $1.3 trillion. 2012, $1 trillion. 2013, $680 billion. 2014, $485 billion. 2015, $438 billion. 2016, $585 billion. Now, here is some simple math for the Obama worshippers. $585 billion at the end of the Obama presidency is higher than $459 billion at the beginning of the Obama presidency. So how did Mr. Obama lower the deficit by more than 60%? Here is the answer. The left starts counting Mr. Obama's deficit meter in 2010, after he passed the $800 billion debt bomb fiscal stimulus bill. But Mr. Obama made the deficit hundreds of billions of dollars worse with a stimulus plan that by the administration's own admission didn't create a single new job. The number of jobs in 2009, 2010, and 2011 was lower than Mr. Obama's economists predicted we would get if we had done nothing and not wasted $800 billion. Mr. Obama's failed presidency is being falsely lionized in other ways as well. The new spin from the left is that Mr. Obama saved the U.S. from a second Great Depression, when in fact he gave America the weakest recovery from a recession since the Great Depression. He also left Mr. Trump with an economy that was crawling at 1.6%, which is why many people thought we were headed to another recession. No one thinks that today. If the latest Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta projections are right, we will have growth of 3.2% in the first quarter of this year, which means that the economy has now been growing at above 3% during Mr. Trump's first year in office. That is twice the growth rate Mr. Trump inherited, and that number, ladies and gentlemen, is not fantasy. It is a fact. This video is a production of School of the White Crane. My name is John Brooker, and you can communicate with me through commentary on this video or through my Gmail listed here. Please share this video with family and friends and on social media. May God richly bless you.